Oh, hi.
Hello, everyone. You're listening to Lipstick and Leather, and right with me, right now on Zoom in New York is Miss Guy. How's your day and your week treating you?
Good. Well, but yesterday was a holiday. So where are you, Toronto?
No, Thunder Bay, Ontario. So 110,000 population.
Ah, well, I think I've been there in the past. But yeah, so yesterday was Martin Luther King Day, so just had a mellow day. Plus, Sunday night was that Jane County tribute, so I was out at that, did a couple songs. And yeah, so today's getting back to normal.
For
How
sure.
about
Now,
you?
what projects are you currently up to these days?
Well, I'm doing some recording with a couple of different friends. I uh, I I've been working with this guy Jed Davis, who's an amazing, talented musician, and we've been doing a cabaret sort of performance. He plays piano and I sing and tell silly stories. And so we've done a handful of shows over the last, I think we started right before the pandemic and then um, did a couple more, maybe a couple right before the pandemic and then a couple since things got better in the last year. But we did a few songs Sunday night at the Jane County tribute. And we're writing and recording some stuff. And we did a song for this Muffs tribute record that's coming out, and I'm excited about that. And what else? Then I'm also doing some writing and recording with Freddie Katz, who's a great guitarist and musician and great songwriter. So those are a couple of things I'm doing. Plus, I'm doing a bit of writing, and I'm also, I started doing photography a while back, and I've been doing that here and there when I can. And yeah, that's about it at the moment.
Very cool. Now, of course, I own a hard copy of the Dumb Blonde EP. Now, Miss Guy has many solo tracks, videos, and singles. Do you plan to release any more hard copy material? Because I'd like to own the original, whatever, CD, record, and that kind of format.
Well, I just recently got that Dumb Blonde EP up on streaming. It was, I think back it came out like 10 or so years ago, and that was an actual physical CD. But uh nobody really buys CDs anymore. So uh anyway, I think it was on streaming platforms back then, and then it was sort of disappeared and now it's back. So I have more songs from those sessions that I'm going to start releasing on the streaming platforms, but I don't think I'll probably do an actual disc. Maybe someday down the road. And the last like hard copy of anything of mine was the Toilet Boys debut record was released as vinyl
Mm-hmm.
on the 20th anniversary, which was cool because that was never out released as vinyl in 2001. So our friend Bobby, put it out, and I think it was like a limited edition, and it came with a lot of fun merch. So that was cool. I prefer vinyl, and I like something I can hold in my hand, CDs, vinyl, whatever. But um, it's just not really. I don't think I'll be doing much of it. Did that answer your question? I don't even.
It does, it does. Now, I love your solo track in 2014, F Love. There was supposed to be a video for it also. Will it be available in some kind of digital format again down the road? Because it's completely disappeared and not anywhere anymore.
Oh, how did you hear it? I don't think that was ever any released. That's one of the songs I'll be releasing on, the streaming platforms. Uh, uh, I wrote that and recorded that I think in 2007 or 8, um, with a production team called Super Buddha, we did a bunch of songs. They did the Dumb Blonde EP with me, and so we there are probably like 10 more songs, maybe 15. Um, so I'm gonna start releasing those one or two at a time. And the idea back when I released Dumb Blonde, I made a video for every song on that EP back in 2002, I guess. And so I was gonna do a second EP, at some point back then with 5 more songs and do a video for each of those, but that never happened. And so I don't know if I'll be making videos for any of these. Probably not. I mean, I don't know, unless I figure out how to do it myself with my phone. But that I don't know. I don't know. But Fuck Love is one of my favorites, and I I wish I could have released it back then, but it'll come out at some point soon. Probably this year.
Awesome. Looking forward to that.
Thank you.
Now, what about Crying in the Rain? Will that be released down the road too?
Oh yeah, that I'll probably release in a few months. That was the first song I wrote with after the Toilet Boys broke up back in 2003 or 4. Um, we parted ways for a while and you know did some creative things on our own. And so that was when I started working with Super Buddha. That I that was the first song that we did, and it's my mom's favorite. So I have to get it out there, for my mom. And I would love to make a video for that. That I feel like I could do myself because the idea I wanted for that video, and I actually talked to a video maker back, in 2013, I guess. And we were going to do just basically a tight shot of my face, overly made up. And I was going to be crying. I don't know if we were saying for the whole video or just at the end or something, but that was the idea. But I was thinking, I over the years I've thought from time to time, oh, I could just, film myself walking down the street in the rain, with my phone. And so maybe that's what I'll do. I don't know. But I that's my favorite song. I mean, just because I think it was the first time I'd really done a ballad. And so I was like, sort of scared to do that because, after the Toilet Boys being, heavy and fast and hard, I wanted to do something soft and different. And I'm a big Elton John fan. I like mellow music, so I wanted to do something kind of soft and pretty. But I've never performed that live or anything, so I don't think that's on YouTube or out there in any way. But I'll be releasing that as I start um, releasing songs. That'll be one of the first ones, I think.
Awesome. Now, I love your track, Merry Effin' Christmas. Any chance of more holiday songs, Christmas songs, or something along those lines?
I don't think so. Oh, actually, yeah, I did have an idea. I did that with Matt Katz Bowen from Blondie, and I had that idea to do a song called Merry Fucking Christmas for years, and I wanted to do it as a Toilet Boys song. And when we got together to do some shows in like 2015 or 16, and we were going to, well, we did record a couple of songs or a few songs, and I suggested doing Merry Fucking Christmas because I thought that would be great. And I knew I wanted it to have kind of like a 60s Phil Spector sound to it, but I was also thinking of like the Ramones Christmas song. And with the Toilet Boys, it could have been a little heavier and harder. But Sean didn't think it was a good idea after not doing anything for so long to come back with a Christmas song. And he was right. So I put it on hold. And then a couple of years after that, I was talking to Matt and I was like, I really want to do this Christmas song. So we did it, just the two of us. And yeah, that song is so funny. I really want to perform that live sometime, but I haven't performed around Christmas in many years. So, but maybe next year or this year rather. But I did just say to Matt a couple of months ago that I had another idea for a new Christmas song. So stay tuned. Maybe we'll do it. I don't know.
Awesome. Now, is there anywhere that we can see the Spike Lee Toilet Boys commercial?
Mm. I was like, what? Yeah, I forgot about that. I don't even know if I ever saw it. I don't remember what that was for, but I think it was for MTV maybe. And I don't know if he was in it or if he just directed it. Um, I know there's a photo of us floating around somewhere from the day of the shoot. Yeah, he directed it. I don't think he's in it, but I don't remember if I ever saw it, and I don't know what it was for. I think it was something for MTV, and I think it was us playing, or supposed we were. It was like we were supposed to be playing it. Sean breathed fire. It was down at the fuck. What was the name of that hall on the Lower East Side? Um, I don't remember the name of it, but it's where Chris Stein and Mary got married to Barbara, and I DJ'd that wedding. So God, what was the name of that place? Anyway, some like old religious hall. So I don't know where that commercial is or how it could be seen. Have you? It's not on YouTube.
No, I definitely looked at, and I've definitely never seen it, but I'd love to.
Yeah, me too. I probably saw it back then, but I don't remember. But I could ask Sean. He might have it. He used to always have a video camera all in the throughout the late 90s and early 2000s. Um, so he got a lot of stuff, and I don't know if he got any footage of that or if he has a there are things we've done in the past that I never got a copy of, and maybe he did.
Now, what's the story behind your red jacket you wore in a photo shoot with Mick Rock in 2012?
Mick Rock and who?
Ah, yourself. The photo shoot. There's a story supposedly behind the red jacket that you wore in the photo shoot with Mick Rock.
Oh, shoot. When you photographed my band?
Yes, I believe so.
Hmm. I don't remember. I only have. I mean, I have a couple of red jackets, but that was like 20 years ago that he shot us, or 21 years ago. And the only red jacket I had then that I still have that I can think of is this little red leather motorcycle jacket that I found. No, I don't even think I had that then. I bought that when I was recording Super Buddha in Brooklyn, and I just stumbled upon it in a vintage clothing store. And it was very tiny, um, like a lipstick red, old, beat up, but great motorcycle jacket. And it was in the window, and I was like, oh, how much is that? And they're like, well, it's very small. It probably won't fit you. And I was like, I can cram my body into pretty much anything. And I tried it on and it fit. And they said, oh, you can have it for like $75. So I was so happy. But I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry.
Yes,
Jeez.
okay.
There was, I wore a red top. Okay. I did wear a red leather Dolce and Gabbana jacket. For that part of that shoot. We did some stuff in his studio, and I wore more of a costumey thing because it was winter out. And then he shot us on the roof of his studio, and it was cold out. So I put on that red Dolce and Gabbana leather jacket that my friend Michael Matula gave me. He owns a hair salon in New York called Mudhoney. It was the first like real rock and roll hair salon. He opened it in the mid or late 80s, but he started doing my hair in like the mid 90s. So all that good Toilet Boys platinum stuff was his work. He cut and dyes my hair still to this day. But he always gives wonderful gifts, and that was a birthday or Christmas gift that he gave me back then. But I don't think there's a story behind it other than yeah, no, I don't think there's a story behind it. And then I did wear this red costume that Pushi and Michael, these designers at that time in New York, made for me, and it had all of this Iranian slogans on it, and that because Hushi's Iranian, and I wore it. It was pre 9/11, and I wore all of this. He made me this costume for a tour in I guess 2001, and I guess it was going to be the tour that supported our record at that time that came out on 9/11. And anyway, it was because George Bush was president at the time. It was a lot of stuff like, death to America and shit like that in Iranian. And so I thought that's outrageous. I'm going to do it. And then so I remember he also just made me some tank tops that I would wear in the summer that were more casual, or sometimes I'd wear them after a show. But I was walking down the street, and I guess I passed an Iranian woman, and she looked at my shirt and was horrified because she understood what it was saying. And I was like, and then 9/11 happened, and when we finally were able to tour, we had to cancel our tour because we were supposed to leave like the day after, not like September 12th, 2001. And we postponed it for a couple of months, but I ended up wearing that stuff, and I was a little concerned at first, but it was fine. But maybe that's the story behind the red something or other with Mick Rock. But anyway, I don't know. But I have having Mick Rock shoot us was such a big thrill for all of us. But I would say, I was obsessed with Mick Rock imagery since I was, 7 years old. And so I guess I had met him a couple of times over the years, and then he asked if to photograph us, and it was a thrill and an honor. And I love the photos. I've only seen two or three maybe, but and the last time I saw him, we talked about he mentioned shooting me again or the band, I don't remember, and also looking at some more of the photos. I think maybe Sean or Eddie have contact sheets from that session. I don't, but anyway, I'd like to see some more because there was some good stuff.
Awesome. Now, how was the experience of meeting Keir Kirby of Delight in 1992 in Paris?
Well, I knew Kier way before that. We were already, friends. That thing in Paris was just something we were all at. Nina Hagen was there, Boy George, I was there. Me and JoJo, were my best friend. At the time we were performing together a lot, and so we were over there probably with Suzanne Barsh, and she, we and Kier was there, and I don't remember what it was, but it was some sort of fashion event. But I met Kier and Dimitri probably my first 6 months or so of living in New York, and then they started Delight in like probably '87, and they used to play around town at the Pyramid and at Wigstock, and so when they got signed and in like '89, I guess, uh, uh, when they I did the makeup for the record cover, and the for the first record, World Click, and then I did the makeup for the Groove is in the Heart video, and also had a little quick cameo in it. And so it was kind of, strange that happened, but I guess, Kier liked the way I did my makeup. I didn't really do much makeup at the time. I did a few gigs here and there, but she asked me to do those two very important things. So that was exciting for me. And plus, I was such a big fan. Even before they got signed, I was a big fan. They were so much fun to see live. And Kier was it is such a beautiful woman and has such a great voice and is such a good dancer. And she was so exciting on stage. So I, yeah, by the time that the thing in Paris that you're talking about, we were already old friends. But yeah, so that's how we met. I think the first time I saw her was at this club called Area in probably 1980, early 1986. And she, when you, from what I remember, because I only caught a few nights there because it closed probably in '86 or early '87, I don't think. But I went a few times, and quite and so when you would enter there, they always had these art installations and would change the entire theme of the club like every 4 weeks or 6 weeks, I don't remember. And so when you would walk in, there was this long entrance down to the main part of the club, and there were windows like sort of like uh like a store window, like at
Mm.
Macy's or something, or Bendel's, and there would be different things happening. And so one time, I feel like me and my best friend Lauren, who I moved to New York with after high school, we were walk leaving, and there was this scenario of like a sort of cracked out prostitute putting on mascara really frantically, like in the window for everyone to see that was passing by, but like she was in there, like in her room, and it was just a mess, like shit everywhere, and a bed, and or a mattress, and a stained mattress, and she was putting on, and I was like, oh my god, I just stood there and watched her for a while, and that was Kier pre-fame. I don't even think Delight had started at that point, but I didn't meet her that night, but we met shortly after that. But her and Dimitri were um, on the scene in New York when I got here, and as a couple, and they started writing and performing together.
Right on. Now, have you ever received any criticism on voicing your opinion against animal cruelty and not eating meat?
Have I ever what?
Received any criticism for it?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've had uh, vegan and vegetarian friends for many years. In fact, my sister was vegetarian since I was a child. She's, I guess, 7 years older than me. And she became vegetarian when she was about 14 or 15, and I didn't even know what that meant, except that she was like, I just don't eat meat, and I didn't understand why. Um, but then at some point in my 20s, I guess probably when I met Theo from the Lunatics, she was is a hardcore vegan, and she got me into it. I mean, I've always loved animals, but I used to wear uh, um, fur. I never have bought any fur. I would maybe get like hand me down vintage things from friends or whatever. I don't have any of that stuff anymore, but uh, and I ate meat and everything, but um, I I started becoming a little bit more aware of that and that it's not right. So but I mean, I was vegetarian in the not, or I guess early '90s for a while, and vegan for a little while, and then would go to like, Europe and be working in Spain or something, and come back to the hotel at just in, as they're putting out like the breakfast buffet, and I would smell like bacon or something and be drunk and be like, and eat some bacon and fall off the wagon. But anyway, so I stopped eating meat and pork, and I never really liked poultry, but I would have chicken breast once in a while. And I thought I can't eat cows or pigs because I love them as creatures too much. And fish and birds, I don't really feel a love or affection for. So I continued eating a little bit of poultry and ate quite a bit of fish. And then I just at some point started thinking like, oh, I can't. I kind of got into birds and watching birds on the beach or whatever, taking walks to the park, and I thought I became sort of fascinated and thought I don't want to eat them. They're a living creature and it's not right. And then saying that's the same thing that happened with fish. And then I just gave up dairy um, because same reasons. The animal industry is not, even when they say they're you know ethical or whatever. The animals, it's not any kind of life for a beautiful uh, living creature. So yeah, but I get people. I don't get it. I guess I don't get any criticism. I just get people saying, "Oh, don't you want a burger? Don't you want a steak?" And I'm like, "No, I don't." And it's so easy now with all of the plant-based substitutes. But anyway, that's all. I I'm happy to do my small part to help, you know, save animals if I can. Because I like animals better than people.
Now, Toilet Boys were photographed backstage by Mika Smith for Metal Edge magazine at their sold out show at the Roxy in LA around 2001. Did you get to meet CC DeVille and Glenn Danzig at that show?
Who?
CC DeVille and Glenn Danzig were supposedly at the show at the Roxy in
Oh,
2001.
yeah, I don't remember who took that photo of us in the dressing room. Um, I don't know. Yeah, CC DeVille came to that show at the Roxy because yeah, I don't know if Glenn Danzig was there, but he might have been. But he was at a show we did in LA when we played with the Cramps, and that was really fun. I met him for a snippet, but he was kind of an asshole to me. So I love his voice and I like the Misfits, but I don't care. I didn't care about meeting him, and he was kind of a jerk. So I just was like, whatever. And Dee Dee Ramone was there, and so when we were done playing, I sat in the balcony with Dee Dee Ramone, and we watched the Cramps together. And he told me that while we were watching the Cramps, that the only reason he came was to see us play. So that was sweet and exciting to hear from Dee Dee Ramone. But yeah, so a lot of people, a lot of rock stars would come see us play in LA, and some actors too. Um, but CC DeVille was at that Roxy show. My mom and sister were at that show as well, and yeah, there was some guy giving me a hard time while we were on stage. Uh, I don't know if he was heckling us or he threw beer at me or something. He threw his drink at me or something. So I pointed him out, and I may have kicked him in the chest too. I don't remember, but because I kicked quite a few people over the years while I was on stage. But I mean, only if they deserved it. I would never just do that. But uh, this particular night, this guy was fucking with me, and I was so mad because it was the first, no, it was the second time my mom seen us play, but so I pointed him out, and CC DeVille, well, I don't, somebody, maybe our friends the Bullies were touring with us at the time, and they were a bunch of tough guys from New York, and they started pushing this guy around, and he started swinging at him. So this sort of little brawl started happening, and then that guy was down on the ground, and everyone was just sort of beating the shit out of him. And CC DeVille, I remember, ran over, and I think he got a couple of swings in or something. I don't remember exactly what happened, but it was something along those lines. But yeah, he was very nice, and I was a big Poison fan. That first record came out. I was just living in New York, just got here, and was working at Tower Records. And I remember somebody from shipping and receiving came up to me and said, "Oh," and I used to wear makeup every day in those days. I was like 19, I guess, and they said, "Oh, yeah, you'll like this record," and handed me this record, Poison, and I guess they just assumed I would like it because it was the guys all made up, and they were right. I love that record. We used to cover Talk Dirty to me, and yeah, so it was nice to meet CC DeVille. I don't think I'd ever met him before, but people saw us play a few times in LA, maybe a couple times, I don't know. And Duff from Guns N' Roses came to see us once or twice. And Anthony and Flea, I think, came to see us. I don't know. There was always someone there. Once we got a buzz going. But those were fun days.
Awesome. Now, Ace Frehley expressed interest in producing or working with the Toilet Boys. Did anything ever wind up happening? Any material get worked on with Ace?
I don't remember that ever happening. But he came to see us play a couple times, I guess. I remember the first time because Bob Gruen brought him uh, to our show in New York, and so I heard he was coming, and we were all really nervous because we're all big Kiss fans, and Ace is my favorite since I was a child. So he was really nice. We met afterwards and took some photos. Bob took some photos of us, and he hung out in the dressing room with us, and we had a good time. And then I'd see him from time to time, and he'd always say hi, and he was very friendly, and he seemed to really like me, and he liked the band too. And I don't know, maybe he talked to Sean about producing us. I wish I would have loved that. Maybe it'll still happen. Who knows?
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Now, yourself, you've lived quite the life, and so did your dad, Ernie, who was in the band The Centurions. Would yourself or your father ever consider writing an autobiography?
I definitely am. I mean, I've been doing, you know, a little bit of writing here and there when I think of a story that I think might be interesting for a book. And I've talked to my dad about writing his memoir, but he won't do it. And I even said, well, I mean, at the very least, there'll be a chapter in my book about him and his time in the music business. It was pretty short. It wasn't a long time that he was at it. Um, but I told him, he's got a lot of great stories, and they toured. The Centurions didn't, but his band after that, that never actually did any recording, I don't think, or if they did, it's not released. But they toured with Ike and Tina Turner in like the summer of 1970, and he's got great stories about that. And so I said, well, if you don't want to write your book, I could interview you and um, then have these, interviews for you to then we could find someone to write the book for you, or I could, whatever. But he doesn't seem all that interested. And I think, he's got some, I don't know, probably has some skeletons in his closet. And he kind of gave up. He quit his band in the early 70s, probably not long after that Ike and Tina Turner tour, and just came home from a rehearsal and told my mom that he quit the band and that they were going to start going to church, him and my mom. And he got, I guess, like a religious bug for a minute in those days. And I asked her, this wasn't long ago, why? And she said, I didn't ask him. And he didn't tell me, which I think is so odd, but I guess that's a sign of the times. But he probably has stories that he doesn't want people to know about, or things that he's done, you know, whatever. So, you can't really write a life. You can leave pieces out of your life story, but the best autobiographies are the honest ones where you really hear everything. And, I don't think he would, there's things that he just wouldn't want to talk about. So.
Well, that's fair. Now, you've met Nikki Sixx numerous times. Does he remember you from winning the Cruise to Nowhere Bermuda contest?
Yeah, he does. So does Tommy Lee. Tommy Lee, I always have to well, always. I've only seen him a handful of times over the years.
So, after meeting Nikki Sixx numerous times, does he remember you from winning the Cruise to Nowhere Bermuda contest?
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, he does. So um, I have a lot of funny Nikki, well, a couple of funny Nikki Sixx stories, but I saw him last in Mexico about 4 years ago. I was there for my niece's wedding, and he was there staying at the same place that I was staying at with his girlfriend, I guess, or wife, and said hi, and but yeah, I've seen him. He one of the when one time when Motley Crue played the Garden, I guess the last time I saw them at the Garden, which was quite a few years ago. We went backstage afterwards, and he was, super sweet, and he talked. I guess his book had just come out. He talks about me or my band, and the fact that we had the same manager for a while that they used to have in the 80s. Um, we had the same guy in like the late 90s. And anyway, Nikki always says nice things about my band. He really seemed to like my band and whatever. But whenever I've seen Tommy over the years, um, he's come to places I'm DJing, and so I always look different too. And I certainly look different than that night or that time in Bermuda when I, was all dressed up. But I always, you know, will say to Tommy Lee, "Oh, I'm my name's Guy. I'm the one who won the Motley Cruise to Nowhere." And then he's like, "Oh, dude," and gives me a big hug. It's very funny. But yeah, and that happened that night at the garden too. I went back to say hi, and he was looking at me sort of like, because I think my hair was cut short at the time and whatever, and I don't know if I had any makeup on, maybe a little eyeliner, but he was, once I reminded him of the Motley Cruise to Nowhere, he gave me a big hug, you know. But those guys are really sweet. Um, and they were nice, pretty nice at that Motley Cruise to Nowhere. I mean, they had to be. It was an MTV thing, and there were other fans that won the contest from other parts of the country or whatever. But um, yeah, so yeah, I really like Nicky. I think he's a really nice, smart guy, and I love his songwriting, and you know, um, I would like to, you know, maybe someday do something with him. I actually their manager at this one time, I don't know if he still manages them, but it must have been in 2010, I'd say. Motley Crue was, oh, no, 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 I'm thinking of something else. I was thinking, wait, is Vince Neil still singing with them? There was something that came up, and I told, because I knew their manager at the time, because he was managing Blondie, and I said, oh, they were having a contest for an opening band to go on tour with them. And I said, tell Nikki and Tommy that the Toilet Boys will, you know, go on tour with them. And he was like, oh no, that would, Scott, this is a real contest and we're really gonna pick a winner and whatever. So that didn't happen. But yeah, I would like to do something with Nikki someday.
Awesome. Now, do you stay in touch with any of the other contest winners?
No. I don't there were like two girls from somewhere in the Midwest and then two guys that were from the South, like Florida or something, or somewhere in the Midwest. I don't remember. And then me and my roommate at the time. Um, I think that was it. And so the two guys, because I was wearing makeup every day and dressed up at the parties at night, and the by the end of the cruise, I think it was like a 3 day thing. Um, uh, those boys started wearing like eyeliner or glitter on their eyes or something. It was kind of cute. I guess I rubbed off on them a little bit. And they were just like normal rock dudes from the Midwest, very nice. And but no, I never kept in touch because in those days it wasn't unless you gave someone your number that you just didn't, and I didn't have any interest in keeping in touch with anybody really, and I don't think anyone had any interest in keeping in touch with me. But actually now I would love to come across any of those people on social media, but it's never come up. Sometimes there's a couple of photos of us that were group photos of us, like the winners with Motley Crue on the boat that were in at the time. They were in some rock magazines at the time, and those surface from time to time on like Motley Crue social media fan sites or whatever. But yeah, no, I've never been. I mean, I don't think I've ever been messaged by any of those other um, contest winners. I got strip searched in Bermuda, and that was pretty crazy. Yep. Um, I guess because they didn't believe I was a boy. I was probably 19, I guess, at the time, something like that. And I was, wearing makeup every day in those days, and had long blonde hair and was very thin. And so when we landed in Bermuda, we were going through customs, and when they looked at I don't think I had a passport at the time, but you could just use your birth certificate. And they saw that it said male, and they took me in a room and strip searched me. And once they saw my dick, they were like, okay. And I think they just didn't believe that I was a male. It's so weird. Because I have a flat chest. I never did boob. I never wore like padded bras or anything. Um, so that was pretty funny. Yeah. And I was so incredibly shy in those days that it was horrifying for me to have to do that. But now I like it because it makes for a good story.
Now, there was a commercial shot for the Cruise to Nowhere Bermuda contest that you were involved in, I believe, too, correct?
Oh yeah, I always forget about that. Shit. I'm gonna have to talk to you someday. You know more about my life than I do. I one day because that should go. The whole Motley Crue thing will be I'll have to put in my memoir. Um, but yeah, I they filmed. I don't know if we did them. Uh, it was after. I don't know if they filmed us on the when we were in Bermuda or if it was after. Because a couple of the MTV people really liked me. The woman at the time, I think her name was Sharon or Shannon. I don't remember her name, but beautiful woman and very nice and seemed to really like me. We may have bumped into each other a few times after that, or maybe we kept in touch after that. I don't remember now, but anyway, so yeah, we it was they used to have these MTV commercials that with contest winners that were like you know, with MTV, you people really do win or something like that. And they filmed me saying that and I think I blew a kiss. I was all made up and I blew a kiss into the camera or something campy. And I saw it on MTV, but in those days, unless you taped something on your VCR, you just saw it and that was it. And I don't know if I've never searched for it on YouTube or anything, but I would love to see that. But I don't know if it exists. In fact, I don't think it does because I remember there was somebody was doing a story on this Motley Crue thing and maybe on an anniversary, and they interviewed me and they were trying to find that footage
Hmm.
for this thing they were doing. And I think they contacted MTV and everything. And I don't know. I don't think it exists. I should have I should have taped it on my old clunky VCR I had at the time, but I didn't.
Well, maybe someone on this YouTube interview will see it and message you. They have a copy of it.
Yeah, yeah. If you do, please send it to me or Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you've met Katie Lang a few times and seen her live a few times. When seeing her live, have you ever seen her with John Lowry in the band? Of course, John Five now.
Who?
John Lowry, who's John Five, used to play in Katie Lang's band.
I
Of
don't
the
know.
times when you've seen Katie Lang, have you ever seen her with John Lowry playing?
I have no idea. I don't know who that is. I mean, I love Katie Lang, and we say hi, from time to time. I did see her live once or twice at Radio City. Beautiful voice, my God. Her cover of Roy Orbison's "Crying" is so beautiful. I did her makeup a couple times, and we did some things, various things in the maybe earlier mid '90s. I don't remember, but I didn't know any of her bandmates. So any musicians she was playing with, I don't think I ever met. But she's great. I mean, she's so funny and great sense of humor and super cool. Um, but I haven't seen her in many years. The last time she played in New York was pre-pandemic, and I think it was Radio City, and I was gonna try to go, but I wasn't able to. But yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know the musician you're talking about. Sorry,
No worries.
I'll have to Google him.
Definitely. Now, how did Toilet Boys hook up with the awesome artist Scott Ewalt for the earlier cover?
Oh, he's an old friend of mine from California. Before when I was a kid in high school, he was the first one out of. There was a handful of us from that scene that we all sort of used to go to this underage club called Club Zoo, and they were all a few years older than me, but he was the first one to move to New York out of those of us that were hanging out at Club Zoo when we were like 15, 16, 17. And so he moved to New York, and then our friend Stephen Perfidia was next to come here. And then Lauren and I, my best friend from school, we graduated high school and we were planning on moving to LA. Well, and then we met Malcolm McLaren in LA at a party he was having. and we were all dressed up, and he said, "Oh, we were still seniors in high school," and he said, uh, you guys should go to New York if you've never been. You know, they would love you there." So we were like, "Oh, I guess we're moving to New York." So after we graduated high school, then we came to New York. So Scott was my friend from those days, and you know, we hung out in New York, and he so the that Toilet Boys piece of art that he did for us, he just did it because he's a good guy, very generous, very sweet. And we're doing something together now, actually, that I'm super excited about. Um, and yeah, he's such a genius artist.
Awesome. Now, how did the Toilet Boys get involved with Toilet Boys Jones Soda?
I have no idea. I don't know. Somebody contacted us, or maybe if we had a manager at the time. I just saw those. I have two bottles of it, and they're so disgusting looking. I should probably empty them out. But yeah, the funny thing about that soda, I don't remember what it was called, but it was in stores in those days. And my dad happened to see it in a store, like, because I never would tell him, I really wouldn't tell him things that were happening with us. I would tell my mom, and she would tell him, or if I happened to talk to my dad, I would say if something really exciting was happening. But that wasn't really, I wasn't particularly excited about that. I thought it was silly, but was like, oh, okay, cool. And he was in a store one day, went in to buy a soda or something, and saw my band on a bottle of soda. And I don't know if I ever asked him, but I don't know if he even bought it. I don't think he did. I don't think he liked my band. So that's okay. A lot of people did.
Well, I love Toilet Boys.
Yeah.
Now, would you ever consider doing a set of, say, yourself doing a DJ set and a Miss Guy set and a Toilet Boy set all in one night?
I think that would kill me. I could have done it, 20 years ago. I never liked DJing on nights we would play. I would do it sometimes in New York, because then I could just have a friend DJ for me, well, until I was done playing, and then I could DJ. But it was too much, too draining, and especially in those days, the Toilet Boy shows were super high energy and took a lot out of all of us. So it was hard to do much after, except go to a party or something, have some drinks or eat some food or whatever. But and then when back in those days when we used to tour, I used to get offers all the time from promoters that would want me to DJ after parties, like have an after party for us and have me play DJ. And I always turned it down. And it was really stupid. I should have been doing those DJ gigs because I could have been making more money. But in those days, I was very like, DJing was my office job, and Toilet Boys was my main focus. And so I didn't want to mix the two. And when I was in Toilet Boys mode, I wasn't thinking about DJing. So, but in hindsight, I probably should have accepted some of those DJ gigs. But now, I don't, I wouldn't do it. I do have, I would maybe do like a Miss Guy set and a Toilet Boys set, but I don't know. But I have in May it's going to be 30 years since I started DJing, and I was thinking of maybe I should do a big sort of party. And I've been talking with some musician friends of mine about uh, doing a solo show. And I was thinking this time I would do like a couple of Toilet Boys songs, and I did this band with Matt from Blondie called Goon Squad. I thought, he often plays with me whenever I do solo stuff, but I haven't done much solo stuff over the years. But so maybe we would do a couple Goon Squad songs, a couple some solo stuff, a couple Toilet Boys things. Maybe I would ask Sean or Adam or Eddie to come on stage with me if I did a couple Toilet Boy songs. I don't know, but I do want to do something with the solo stuff soon, and I probably will sometime this year. But I don't think it'll be a combined thing with Toilet Boys or DJing. Just it would be too much.
Well, thank you very much for your time for the interview. That was very fun and informative.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I uh I hope you have a gorgeous rest of your day. And yeah, thanks for having me.